My top 5 markets to dominate wholesaling in 2023. What's up, guys? Rick Ginn here. And today's video, I'm going to show you the top 5 markets for wholesaling houses in 2023, even if the market declines. So even if the real estate market goes down, these 5 markets are going to lead you to wholesaling success. Now, I did this full presentation on my personal Rick Ginn YouTube channel, and I had my media team chop it up and grill it down to the best information so you can get right into it. So make sure you go to my personal Rick Ginn YouTube channel so you don't miss my live streams I have every Monday on there and my one-on-ones. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to it. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the 5 best wholesaling markets. And then what I'll do, if you guys want to ask your questions, I will try to answer them as we're going along. And then if you want to jump on a mastermind, I got plenty of room. So first come, first serve, hop on there. Just be patient. And I promise you, I'll take you guys in order. And I will stay here as long as we have questions. How's that? So without further ado, let's jump into it. So where did I put my list here? So guys, I really narrowed it down to 5 because let's just cut to the chase, right? Because 5 turns into 10, 10 turns into 20, 20 turns into 50, 50 turns into 100. So why not? But what I want you to do is you don't actually have to take the market and go, okay, I got to do that market because Rick told me to do it. I want you to understand the concept and the ideas of why these markets are trending in the right favor, of why I think they're phenomenal. And you need to look for the same characteristics. And you will see an overlying universal theme here. So guys, I got 21 years experience. I know how to do this. And by the way, I've picked a lot of bad markets too. Yeah, I've picked a lot of bad markets. And the funny thing is, I'm in one of the worst markets and I'm still succeeding in my own backyard because I like to do local business. But a lot of you are stuck in a market that's just not going to work. Maybe you're stuck in San Fran, Manhattan, maybe South Florida, Miami. Anything in South Florida is really tough because our average price points are 500,000 or 600,000. It's hard to make an investment property work. So let's look at these 5 markets, and I want you to understand the underlying tone in every one of them. And here's a really cool part. If you are on this stream and you're in one of these markets, please contribute, because I don't live in these markets. I'm just hyper aware of these markets, and I think that will help you out. So let's come in at number 5. Now, this is a state that gets a lot of recognition in wholesaling. And to be honest with you, it's probably one of the most densely populated states with wholesalers. It's always been a super cheap state. It's a very cold state. And unfortunately, it's in a state with a mixed bag of population. So without further ado, let's take a quick peek at it. Dayton, Ohio. Guys, Dayton, Ohio is cheap. Look it up. I'm always blown away, even with today's price points, which are almost double what they were 4 or 5 years ago. It's cheap. If you are in Ohio, I'm telling you right now, if you live in Ohio and you don't wholesale real estate, you're missing stuff in your own backyard. I could go on all day long. I've been to Ohio, I think 3 times in my life. I've been there multiple times for wholesaling. And I'm telling you, I just can't believe how cheap real estate is there. And the relationship to the cost of the real estate and the rental market is unbelievable to me. So almost every property that I come across cash flows, the taxes are really low. And then here's the really part. Here's my 2 favorite things. Ready? It's cheap. So what you want to do is look up your average cost per house. So let's look it up real quick. So Dayton, Ohio, average home price. And I would love to have you guys guess what it is. I mean, it's hovering at, just depends on who you look at, 113. Now, I remember looking at these in the 30s and going, oh my God, $48 a square foot. The average one's 1,300 square foot. Guys, I'm in a state where I can't even sniff a shed for that. And I want you to understand this too. Not only is it a super cheap market, it has a huge population. So let's look up the population just to give you an idea. Oops, wrong one. Let's see here. I'm doing this as we do it. And guys, I do a lot of research. I do a lot of marketing, and I do a lot of business around the country. And it's basically got 138,000 population. Now, what you also have to understand, I don't want to freak you out, but this population is not growing. So it's actually been on the decline, and it's now starting to show some signs of stabilization. And why is that important? I don't want to move into a market where like there was 100,000 and it's dropping us down to 60,000. That is freaky stuff. And I'm not a big fan of that. That means there's a massive problem in there. Now, a lot of these towns that have been hit, Ohio, Michigan, where the big factories are, they've been through a transition for the last 20, 25 years. And now as pricing real estate across the country is really starting to impact the average Americans, these markets are starting to look attractive again, guys. Where else can you get $100,000 houses with 100,000 plus populations? I'm telling you right now, and I'm not just going to stop at Dayton, Ohio, although I could go through all of them. I mean, it's endless. So I know you got Columbus. There's so many towns in Ohio. Now, I don't like the cold weather. I'll be the first one. I could never live in Ohio, but it is a pretty place. It's beautiful in the spring and the summer, and I get it. But it's extremely affordable. And as the affordability of the cost of housing goes, Ohio is going to become much more attractive. Let's face it. If you can't pay your bills, you can't pay your rent, you definitely can't pay your mortgage. You're going to go move to a place where you can afford it and where you feel your dollars are best spent. You're going to have to suck up some brutal winters. Yeah, but it's nothing like Alaska or anything like that. So it's not Canada, although it's close. Guys, look at it. Dayton, Ohio works really well. And you can look at all of Ohio for that. And if you guys want to figure out how to do it, the simplest way to do it, honestly, is you can use Lister REI through PropStream, or just go on Zillow and look at the average price points for each of these markets and then research the population. And it's really just that simple. So guys, I love these markets. Somebody asked, where's the intro? Remember, kind of at the I'm not Flip with Rick here. I'm just Rick Ginn. So I try to just cut straight to the chase. We have a lot more fun on Thursday, but I like to think we have fun here. So, coming at number 4, this is a very controversial market, and it's got some disclosures that are going to come with it. So don't run to it right away, but I want you to understand it. Detroit, Michigan. Now, I know all my friends in the Michigan area that do this, they get really pissed when I throw this market out there. Why? Because it works. Detroit, ready for this? Their population is 600,000 people. So there's always going to be a cash buyer ready to go in Detroit. The challenge with Detroit is it is door to door. And I'm telling you that because I have a market very similar that I learned in Florida when I started. And one street can be phenomenal. The next street can be really bad. And it's a challenge when you are doing it virtual. But after a few months, you figure it out pretty quickly. Remember, your job is to just seek out people's motivation, because once you identify the motivation, it is much easier to get a great deal. Sometimes you'll have the most motivated people in the world and you're just in the wrong house. It's okay. That's going to happen to you in Detroit. So my suggestion, as always, is if you're doing it virtually in the beginning, I would pair up with a local investor that knows what they're doing. If you don't have one, I have 2 I work with directly. I have 10 years experience with them, and they're phenomenal people. And I've learned a lot with Detroit because I've done not a lot of deals, but I've done at least 8 or 9 deals there. It's very house to house. So your job, especially as a virtual investor, is just to seek the motivation. And then you got to find somebody with the local knowledge that can help you bring the deal to the finish line. I love Detroit because everyone's so scared of it, but their price points, guys, oh my God. I still see houses 50, 60,000. You guys can look up the average price. If somebody wants to post in the comments, it just blows me away. Like, I'm in Florida. Like, I can't even get a freaking shed for $30,000 anymore. I mean, it's some of these price points are just unbelievable. And guys, what I tell you is, I'm always, the first thing I look at a market is I look at the population, and then I want to make sure it's 100K or more. Occasionally I do 50K or more, but I got to have some inside knowledge. And then the next one, I'm going to look at the average price points. Why? Because that's how money gets moved quickly. So like in the state of Florida, anything 300 grand or below moves like that now. It used to be 100K, it used to be 50K, but we're looking for the houses with the most demand that are going to have the most turnover. And most people that buy these are starter homes. And if they have an issue, it winds up being a rental property. And that's where they are. Let me see here. Go Buckeyes. See, that's a sticky one for me. But hey, listen, a great football team. Great football team. Okay, let's keep moving through this. And then I'm going to hop on the lives. If you guys want to jump on the one-on-ones, this is your time to jump in and do it. So this next one has an interesting twist to it, and I want you to understand it. Listen, I love Virginia, period. Like, I'm here to tell you, I've seen so much success in the Virginia market, and I will tell you, I'm really hot on the Hampton Roads because it has this military component. Now, I'm not always a big person. Like, I'm not big on college towns at all. I don't like them. I don't like what it attracts. And honestly, I think eventually these colleges are going to get choked out because I think they're all a scam, but that's another channel, another day. But this one has the military. I mean, just a huge, huge military presence. And what this does is, number one, let's face it, the military, God bless anybody who does anything with the military, because it's beyond what the average person would do in the United States. So probably one of my only regrets in life is I didn't serve in the military. I would have been an excellent fit for it. I wouldn't have stayed in it for life, but it probably 3 or 4 years in the military would have straightened me out when I was a young man. But most people in the military are very focused. They need basic housing and they're not paid a lot of money. So the surrounding area around this base on Hampton Roads has a huge demand. The other thing too is, number two, obviously it has a large population. You can look it up, but having that military component on the lower price homes, it protects you against huge market drops. Like, it's phenomenal. Now it's a good size market too. Now I'm going past 5. I love, like, Richmond, Virginia. I do a lot of deals in that area. I don't know why. It's just where everybody wants to JV with me. And I've gotten really good at connecting people and making it work. So guys, look in this area. And if you could find a military component, Hampton Roads more specializes in like the nuclear ships, huge populations, and there's always demand. Even in the worst markets, these prices don't drop. They actually go up, and it's like standing room only. And who does not want to provide housing to our U.S. military? Absolutely not. So I love this country. I love our military. Without it, we would not be the United States of America. And I will actually bend over backwards to help anybody in the military. That's why I love to do VA loans too. I should do an entire show on VA loans, because, by the way, guys, did you know VA loans that you do not have to season them? I could buy a property. I could use hard money. I could pay for it on my own money, whatever you do. You can sell it the next day as long as it qualifies for VA financing. How does it qualify for VA financing? Central AC, good safe windows, an all-around safe house. You have to get 2 appraisals, but I've never failed on a VA loan. Actually, some of my favorite deals to do. FHA, different story, nightmare. Not a nightmare, but it takes 91 days before you can resell it. A VA loan, just a little share. I've been doing this a long time. You can do them right away. So that's why a market like this is absolutely wonderful. If you can find that type of house, knock yourself out. It works really, really well. Boy, I'm starting to share all my secrets here. I got to be careful. Okay, let me check the comments. I'll move forward here. See, I'm seeing if I got anybody in the markets I'm getting ready to drop. Pretty cool. Awesome. So guys, use the chat to talk to each other. And I'm going to share some information with you in a little while that's going to make it much more interesting, where you guys can talk, and you're going to get a lot more bang working with me and Zach here shortly, but I'm going to show you how. So I got drinking coffee at 5 during the day is a new one. Well, no, not new, because you guys know I spilled it before. But I'm actually a pretty wired guy anyways. I don't really need coffee. Coffee sends me over the edge. So I could probably live without caffeine at my age. But I don't know how you guys suck those energy drinks down. I'd be bouncing off the walls if I did that. It's just funny. So next one. I see people in the comments here in the North Carolina area, Fayetteville, North Carolina. I mean, guys, this one, the population's outstanding. You have the Fort Bragg area. You have a huge population, decent pricing on homes. Guys, this is listen, the Carolinas, everyone's known about for the last probably 10 years, really 15 years. But now it's really, people are now searching out the affordability in the Carolinas. And, Fayetteville, it hits every check mark you possibly need. So I see some people from the North Carolina in here. If you guys have comments or input you want to put in it, I would love to hear about it, or hop on the one-on-one. I would love to hear it. I would love to hear it. And I see Tony says, hey, listen, you have a problem finding an executive on the probate. If you want to hop on the live, if you want to discuss it, I only have so much finger space to type every question, but I will help you out best I can. But guys, Fayetteville, so we've gotten 2 deals from there. And I mean, I was blown away with the amount of profit level on them. And when we started looking into the real numbers, because as we do sellmypaper.com all over the country, I get to explore every market. And I've yet to really get on the road other than for personal stuff. I really value my time, and traveling. It's a lot of work. And I traveled a lot when I was younger, and probably for the last 4 or 5 years, I really haven't traveled at all. So that's all about to change. But what I like to do is use the highest and best use of my time. So by JVing with you guys all over the country, I get to find and explore all these markets, and I have a lot of fun with it. And I've met some of the neatest, greatest people. And wait till we get out on the road. You're going to be blown away with what we can do with that. Guys, Fayetteville, if you're looking to pick a market, I know everybody in North Carolina is like, no, get away. We don't need any more. Trust me, I'm buried here in Florida, guys. I am buried. You can come to Port St. Lucie anytime you want. I do not fear competition. And honestly, I think when more people come to your market, it just makes you even sharper and better. And guys, there's so many deals out there. When you got 500,000-600,000 people, there's no way you can suck up every deal. Although we all try to do it. And I understand that. So who's going to guess what the number one's coming? Because honestly, I think I've already rolled it out before. And I'm here to tell you, I'm giving you real-time information. I'm recording this live as we speak. So I don't wait 3 months and I record it and let an editor do it. I just spit the damn thing out. That's the beauty of my channel. That's why you guys like it so much. And I saw one person that commented in here. It looks like, oh, wow. Okay. So okay, let me just spit it out. Let's go. Louisville, Kentucky. That's right. I said it. Now, full disclosure, I've never been to Louisville. I have friends that live in Louisville. I understand the Louisville market. I've done JV deals in Louisville. Why I'm telling you is, number one, all the stuff hits the checklist. Population, beautiful. Average cost of a house, absolutely beautiful. You get land there. And other than like 3 cold winter months, it's not too cold. It's not like Ohio, Buffalo type of cold, Canada cold. It's still cold, don't get me wrong. But Louisville is actually a gorgeous place, especially in the spring and summertime. And it does get hot there in the summertime, but it's extremely affordable, and a lot of Americans are driving to that area. Now, I know what you guys are probably going to say. Wait a minute, Rick. Wait a minute. Hold it. Hold that thought. I thought wholesaling was banned in Louisville, Kentucky. Actually, Kentucky. Yes and no. See, because if you just take the bait that every guru throws you, it's banned, HB 62, you're done. You can't do it anymore. You have to go through my brokerage to protect yourself. Guys, first and foremost, please don't go get a real estate license to create another problem that you didn't have in the first place. And number two, do you want to be a realtor or you want to be a wholesaler? It makes no sense to get your real estate license. Now, if you're one of those guys that just want to broker deals and you want to do that kind of, I don't know, Kegley or thing, whatever, go get your real estate license. But understanding you're a real estate agent and you're taking little bits and pieces that try to make a pile of money in 1 month, which I got no problem doing that. But understanding you are acting as a real estate agent. You are not representing a wholesaler. You might be representing a wholesaler's interest, but the reality is you're representing the company that you do it for. That's why they need a license. That's why they're so big on getting their license. I could care less about the license argument. The reality is you become a licensed real estate agent. You are a licensed real estate agent. It does not make you a better wholesaler. And it sure to hell does not save you from breaking any laws in wholesaling. Argue with me. Anybody wants to come on and argue with me? I am wide open to it. So let's look into it. There's a bill that was just passed at the end of March. And what I want to do is share it on your screen so you guys get because I've seen 5 videos on this now from gurus, whatever you want to call them, influencers. It's banned. It's not banned. Wholesaling is not banned in the state of Kentucky. The problem is you get bits and pieces of a shot and it's all a scare tactic. Why? Because we're so used to the media scaring us. Why not let every guru influencer try to scare us? So I'm going to add this to the stream right now. And if you look at this, so first of all, it was signed in 3/23. And then if you read the actual bill, it says it redefined real estate brokerage to include the advertising. Repeat that. Advertising for sale of an equitable interest in a contract for the purchase of real property between the property owner and prospective buyer. That's it. To limit this type of advertising to licensed real estate brokers. So do you understand this word right here? Advertising. That's all it means, guys. That's all they're saying. And if you understand that, the only thing you have to watch for in Kentucky is don't throw your dang properties out on the internet. Don't do these mass emails and don't do these blanket SMS texts. But Rick, if I get my license, I'm protected against that. No, you're a real estate agent. You're not protected against that. Number one, you could easily double close. Double close the act of buying the property and rapidly reselling. In essence, it's pretty much wholesaling. It's just a little trick around it. If you want to learn more about that, go to freewholesaling.com. I teach you how to do it as your worst case scenario. But we specifically teach the assignment of contract, which how most beginners begin. And if you guys ever get negative news on a market, and it's like the influencers and the gurus, they want to build momentum up. Why do they want to build momentum up? Because if they can find a problem, they can sell you a solution every time to it. All the state of Kentucky did is change their law under real estate licenses to include advertising of equitable interest. And what do I always tell you? Wholesaling is about selling your contract, period. Once you advertise pictures of the house and the actual real estate, you are now operating under the brokerage restriction. So how do I avoid that? Just be smart. Stop advertising and throwing out stuff. Vet people. Make sure it's correct. I don't know why everybody thinks a real estate license is going to fix their life. It's not. And I'm here to tell you this scare tactic that's going on in Louisville, specifically Kentucky, is driving wholesalers out, and you are going to open up a void in this market because every major influencer has said, watch out for HB 62. It's out. So when they say wholesaling's been outlawed, ask them, show me the specific bill that outlaws wholesaling. All it does is restrict the advertising. You see, a lot of these cities and states are doing little nuances to try to discourage it. It's all encouraged by NAR, the National Association of Realtors. And guys, I'm telling you, they don't have the guts to enforce this stuff. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. And I don't want you to test it. So be smart about it. So if you're going to sell your equitable interest, have a vetted cash buyers list. Stop throwing it out on the internet. Stop sending oh boy, I almost said it. Mass emails, and stop sending these giant text things. I don't know who taught this crap. It was never part of wholesaling. It sounds really cool. You think you're going to have 500 people bidding on the property. Listen, it always comes down to 2 or 3 buyers. You got to find the best ones on those market and represent the interest in your contract. It's perfectly legal. And by the way, the HB 62 will not define what they will not clearly, definitively call what they call advertising. What is advertising? You guys ever looked up what is advertising? Advertising. I could take this to a lawyer and all day long defend myself so the definition of advertising, a means of communication with the user of a product, service. Advertisements are messages paid for by those who send them, are intended for influence people who receive them. What does that mean? So if I don't pay for it, it's not technically advertising. What if I'm not communicating, I'm just sending? Do you see how gray this gets? Please tell me you guys aren't scared by stuff like this. So we've all learned when we get scared and we do what like one particular person tells us to do, you don't have an independent mind, and therefore you fall victim just like the rest of the sheep. You guys got to wake up from the matrix. Stop letting gurus, influencers, whatever you want to call them, say. Every headline says wholesaling's been outlawed and banned. By the way, wholesaling, there is a very, very, very tiny limited market where they have restrictions. If you want to find out what they are, go over to freewholesaling.com. Don't worry, I don't charge you a dime over there. I don't have a brokerage to sell you. I don't have a certification course to sell you, because none of that's going to fix it. And to be honest with you, anybody who thinks they're going to go up NAR and beat them with a couple $100,000 of like membership dues, they're just taking your money, and it's basically a back end course. So be smart. Don't fall for the gimmicks. And I'm telling you, the Louisville market, if you have not looked into it, everything else hits the checklist. Why? I'm doing deals there, guys. And I'm telling you, if you have not looked into it, you're looking at virtual markets, I love this market. It works really well.